Hello, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. This is Kenneth Overton, your host for Black Opera Live, where you get all the fabulous Black Opera information and artists. And right here on this platform every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And tonight is so very special. I have three amazing women who are not only my friends, but they are my sisters. They are incredible artists. They are incredibly funny and talented and generous and kind and gorgeous. And they just also happen to be wonderful mothers, which is, from my view, the hardest job on the planet. So I'm so happy to have with me Kearstin Piper Brown, LaToya Lain-Washington, and Indira Mahajan. So get on in the room. I'm going to give you all a few announcements before we bring the ladies in. As you know, tomorrow is September the 15th, and September the 15th, 2020, is Jesse Norman's 75th birthday. And Black Opera Productions is producing and showcasing a fantastic gala celebration to honor this iconic legend. And if you do not have your ticket, and if you have not registered, even if you registered to watch it for free, you are going to be on the losing end of something special. You do not want to be the person that says, oh my God, I missed it. Oh, darn, I meant to watch that. Because guess what? It's only going to be on demand for 1 week after the premiere. But you want to be a part of the premiere audience, because after it premieres, you know, they're going to start talking. They're going to start talking. So you want to be a part of the folks that see it first. So go to blackoperafilm.com and follow the tabs for JN75, Jesse Norman at 75, a celebration. I am so excited. I saw some of the rough cuts this morning, and I was just so full. I cannot believe this has come to fruition from just a little seed planted in my head by my dear friend Courtney Carey, and it has turned into this glorious offering to a woman who has meant so much to me. Also, we're getting close to November the 3rd. Y'all need to register. Y'all need to get your census in. Y'all need to know where your polling places are. Y'all need to have your mailing the ballots. You need to let the folks know that if that's the way you want to vote, then you need to request that information. You need to take a walking trip, if you're going to vote in person, to where your polling place is, and make sure your name is on the roll, and go see your city clerk and make sure that's in order and that your name is on the list, because we don't want any shenanigans come November the 3rd. So please get your life right and vote for the sake of all of us, for the sake of the planet, for the sake of women, for the sake of people of color, for the sake of Black people, for the sake of all of us. Make sure you are in line and ready to vote, folks. No excuses, none. All right. So a little bit about my guest. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay. Kearstin Piper Brown. American soprano Kearstin Piper Brown resumes her Lincoln Center debut next year, leading the cast in Ricky Ian Gordon and Lynn Nottage's production of Intimate Apparel. Listen, when the tickets go on sale for this, when we resume, be in line, because this production is going to be really quite special. Recently, Kearstin made her San Francisco Opera stage debut in the role of Clara in Jake Heggie's It's a Wonderful Life, after covering the lead role of Dame Shirley in the previous season's world premiere, The Girls of the Golden West by John Adams, directed by Peter Sellers. She is currently in rehearsals for Opera Williamsburg's Orfeo et Eurydice, singing the title role of Eurydice. Some of Kearstin's favorite stage roles include Violetta, Contessa Almaviva, Eurydice, Micaela, and Musetta, just to name a few. She has been engaged with the Cincinnati Opera, Opera Colorado, Opera Memphis, Michigan Opera Theater, Dayton Opera, Virginia Opera, and many others. And I have had the honor and pleasure and privilege of sharing the stage with this amazing artist on many occasions. So I'm so glad that she is here. Indira Mahajan, praised for her strongly centered, richly textured soprano by the New York Magazine and her poignant soprano for her moving portrayals by the New York Times. American soprano Indira Mahajan has gained international acclaim, performing with leading orchestras in theaters throughout the world, including Teatro di San Carlo in Naples, Gran Teatro di Genevieve, Opera Comique in Paris, Semper Opera in Dresden, Hanover Opera, Teatro Massimo Bellini, Opera Leipzig, Komische Oper Berlin, the Royal Albert Hall, the Washington National Opera, Dallas Opera, Los Angeles Opera, as well as joining the roster of the Lyric Opera of Chicago. These women are busy. They're busy. I don't know what y'all doing, but they're working. They're working. LaToya Lain-Washington, applauded for her wonderfully rich, powerful, and captivating voice. American singer LaToya Lain, a native of New Orleans, Louisiana, studied voice at the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, Florida State University, and the University of Nevada. Before joining the voice faculty of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Dr. Lain, catch it, Dr. Lain served on the voice faculties of Central Michigan University, NYU, and the Oakwood College, now known as Oakwood University. Equally at home in the teaching studio and on the performance stage, LaToya continues to perform solo recitals, oratorio, and opera worldwide. And she was most recently a member of the star-studded cast of Porgy and Bess at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. Listen, I don't have to say much more. I have receipts here, and I'm going to share just a couple of them with you before we bring the ladies in to the studio. So the next voices you will hear and faces that you will see are of my esteemed guests, LaToya Lain-Washington, Indira Mahajan, and Kearstin Piper Brown. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good, good,
Good to
good.
be here.
You know,
I'm so glad to have y'all here. Y'all look so beautiful. Thank you for joining me. I'm honored to have y'all here on this evening. So let's dig right in because this is a platform where I want to introduce all of the people to all of the people. So for those out there in social media world who do not know you, I want you all to start us off with where you grew up, what your family makeup was like, and how did classical music find its way into your bones. So let's start with you, Kearstin.
Oh, try to keep my story short. I'm Kearstin Piper Brown, originally from the DMV, Alexandria, Virginia. Currently living in Rochester, New York. I was a late bloomer to singing. I would say I was a maybe ethnomusicology major at Spelman College. Thought I would be, working at a university as an ethnomusicologist and living in Cuba half the year, sipping my drinks on the beach. Got at other plans. Did end up at Northwestern University after working in radio at National Public Radio for Performance Today, and kind of took off. No, actually, I taught for a year after that because I was nervous. I didn't think that I was singer-ish. I was like, I don't act like that, and I don't, but I'm here. And I, just kind of took a stab at it and kept going. It was a challenge for me, and I love a challenge. It is.
Yeah. Incredible. So is anybody else in your family musical?
My grandfather was. My grandfather was was one of those quartet singers in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Yeah.
And my father always talks about I was all state, Virginia choir, this, that. So my grandfather and father could sing. My mother, she's a good dancer. Let's just say that.
Okay.
My sister has a little bit of voice. I have an older sister, 10 years older than me, and she got a nice little voice.
Okay. I love it. I love it. What about you, Indira?
hi, you guys. So I started singing when I was very young. I started playing the violin. And as many of you know, my mother, Barbara Mahajan, is an opera singer.
Yes.
And so I grew up hearing it. Um, and I always knew that I wanted to sort of be in the arts. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be an opera singer. I didn't have those aspirations as a young child. But I went to LaGuardia School of the Arts at the time of Music and Art in New York City. And I was also studying at the Harlem School of the Arts. But I thought I would want to maybe dance. So I was at Dance Theater of Harlem for many years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went to Oberlin Conservatory and studied music, but also became interested in other things, particularly African American studies and women's studies. And I just wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do to sing. So I ended up getting accepted into this PhD program, and I was sort of on my way to do public policy. And I had a lesson with a friend's teacher before I was scheduled to start. And he said, "Wait a minute, why don't you just maybe defer for a year? Give me 1 year, and let's see what we can do." Because I didn't feel confident enough to be able to. So I did that, and I went to Manus, where he was at the time, Tom Kaltice, and I went to Manus College, and I studied with him for a while, and then moved to Falcon, and I got very serious when I was studying my master's. Um,
Okay.
so that's how I got started.
Fantastic. What about you, Dr. Lane?
Hey, y'all. Um, I was always into music, but I was an instrumentalist. I played clarinet since the second grade, all the way through high school. And when I was in the 10th grade, I wanted to audition for the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, which is called NOCA, where all of the famous New Orleans artists went to: Harry Connick Jr. and Terrence Blanchard and all of the Marcellus family. And so my mom thought I was going to audition with my clarinet, and I told her, no, I want to sing. And my parents were like, "Can you sing?" Like, they had no idea. And so, in fact, my mom was like, "No, I don't think you should do it. Just stay in school," because it was a half day. So you went to the regular high school half day and then go to performing arts. And so she told me, "Don't go." So I asked my brother to bring me. And my brother brought me, and I auditioned. And the teacher there, I told her I wanted to sing like Whitney Houston. And she said, "No, you're going to sing it like this." And ever since then, I've been singing it like this.
I love it. I love it. So how did your parents adjust to that, you singing it like this? Was it an easy coercion for them, or were they resistant?
No, they were very supportive about it. My teacher introduced them to Jesse Norman, and once my mom became familiar, and my dad, and they were always at my recitals. In fact, Moses Hogan was my pianist for my senior recital from high school.
What?
Yeah, he was my and you know what's so funny? He was also my piano teacher, and had I known he would become famous, I would have practiced way more. But I was like the worst piano student. But yeah, so they became exposed to all of this stuff that they had no idea about, and they were just very supportive from then on. So yeah.
That's amazing. I've known you for many years and never knew that. That's crazy.
Yep. In fact, my mom found the program from my senior recital from high school. And
wow.
He was my pianist. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm going to cry. Yep.
Wow. Well, y'all are getting a lot of love out here. Yes, Karen, you're correct. They are gorgeous. Kevin Short is in the house. Kevin, what's up,
Kevin.
bro? And you getting some Spellman love, Kearstin.
I dragged Pretty Yende in. I messaged her. She's in here.
Yeah, Pretty. I love you. I hope your debut went as you would have wanted it to in Vienna. I hope you're singing beautifully and staying safe. I adore you. So, ladies, then what was your first sort of entrance into sort of having a career at this? Like, after you finished your schooling, did you do young artist programs, or did you do another job, or did you go right into having a career? What did that look like for you, Indira?
You know, I went right after Manus, and I think this was probably one of the benefits of going to graduate school in New York City, is being here, doing your being in part of the opera program, but having managers and agents and people coming to the performances, your college performances, and so I got hired right out of graduate school for New York City Opera, which was sort of right down the street from where I was going to school. So I made my debut early. I mean, after graduating from school, I mean, like, I didn't have to sort of find some other things to do. So I was able to go right in. And I made my City Opera debut as Lady in Waiting to Lady Macbeth. with Lauren Flanagan, who was
Oh, wow.
incredible. Yeah, incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's quite an entrance into this madness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and guess who is here?
Lauren Flanagan.
Hey, Lauren, how are you, Diva? We just spoke your name. My goodness, look at that.
Right up.
What about you, LaToya? How did you enter into this madness after your schooling?
My path was a little different. I was being groomed when I was at CCM. I was in all of the operas pretty much, but I also did very well in vocal pedagogy. And so my professor at that time saw something special in terms of me being a teacher. And so I thought at that moment I needed to make a choice where I was going to focus, but I decided I didn't need to make a choice, and I just kind of did both of them. So my path went from school into graduate school into getting my DMA. And all during that time I was teaching. So I did do Chautauqua Young Artist Program, and a lot of my opportunities came out of relationships. So I was doing auditions, and I didn't get into any young artist programs other than Chautauqua. So,
Wow.
of course, at that time you were thinking, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should just teach. But through connections with Spiritual Ensemble and just Kenny with Opera Noir, making relationships, a lot of my opportunities came, out of relationships.
Amazing, amazing. What about you, Kearstin?
I was a scaredy cat after I finished grad school, Northwestern. I taught an elementary long-term music teacher for a long time. I finally got into a pay to sing program in Italy, and it changed my life. I got an audition at La Fenice while I was doing my audition. They came to hear me sing and wanted me to come sing in the house, and kind of went from there. I didn't do any big young artist programs. I did more of the ensemble programs where you're touring around, and also I was advised not to do this. And Kenny, I was advised not to ever sing Porgy and Bess. That's how I paid my mortgage on my last
house.
And so I'm a hustler. And so what I did when I was over in Europe, I went and knocked on doors and I sang. And that opened doors. And the early part of my career and even the jobs that I get today came from, I think, my first San Francisco audition. I didn't have an agent. Just went and sang, So I just was very bold. I wish I were still that bold, but I just went out and sang for people and kind of built relationships from there.
Interesting. I love that. And so that brings me to another question. All of you have a relationship to the opera Kearstin just mentioned, Porgy and Bess. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times on the show, I've had guests and I've asked the question, is Porgy and Bess, has it been a rose in your life, or has it been a thorn, or has it been both? And how do you see it being now on the other side of it, being a full-on professional career woman? Indira.
I think for me, I think Porgy and Bess has been a rose always. That was really that was my introduction to opera. My mom, as many of you know, performed this when I was younger, and I got to tour with her when I was in school. I mean, it's such a unique experience to be sort of like off in the summer as a child and then get to go on tour. This was with the Houston tour, the Sherman Goldman Houston production. Wilhelmina Fernandez. I mean, it's amazing, amazing singers, and this was the Houston cast. So I was an orphan boy. I was Scipio. And so for me, I was so in love with the production. I was in love with the singers. My introduction to opera was singers of color. And I always knew that it was possible because I saw it and I was exposed to it. And I remember sitting in the wings with Larry Marshall's daughter when we were younger. And we would just sit in the wings and sort of just take it all in and act it out and memorize it. And then we would go home and we would perform it for our family and for our friends. So I couldn't wait to wear the red dress. I couldn't wait to wear, that would be the thing. That was the thing. So I just had a wonder. American opera was really my introduction to opera.
Wow.
Mhm.
What about you, LaToya?
My first introduction to Porgy and Bess was Miles Davis. I used to love that CD
Mhm.
and or tape back in the day.
Don't tell
And
nobody about tape. Don't tell nobody about tape.
I'm telling my age, right? Um, and I had done ensemble and I covered Mariah. I think this was in New Jersey, and Laquita was Bess. And I enjoyed it, but my love for it didn't happen until I started going on the Barkheimer tour.
Okay.
And by doing it so many times over and over, every night, Sunday matinees, sometimes twice a day, Saturdays, every time I heard it, I would hear something different. And I would fall in love with something else. And just the lusciousness of the music and them being in ensemble behind Bess's like Indira and Kearstin. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this opera, I mean, you just become a part of it. It's part of your life. And it gave me the opportunity to, finally sing on the Met stage. So it's definitely been a road for me.
Wow. And you got some love out here from one of your students.
Oh, oh, thank you, Annie.
Wow.
She's an
That's
amazing soprano, just finished from Manhattan School.
fantastic.
Yeah.
What about you, Kearstin?
Look, bottom line, bills paid. Okay. That's all. Enough said. But no, really, really. I
Bills paid.
bills paid. House down payment, first
Mhm.
home. So no, really, I would say that it's taken me places. And I've always kind of ridden on the coattails of Porgy and Bess and been like, okay, here company, this is what else I can do. I've I feel like I felt like I had a home there. So, as people told me, don't sing, I was like, for what?
Mhm.
It's beautiful music. It's paid many bills for me. Haven't sung it in a while, been able to do other things. So, I feel like it's done me well. And I don't turn down opportunities to sing it. Especially in concert. I just love to just kind of get it done and be out of there.
Right. Fantastic. And so when I was reading your bios, I saw that you all do such a wide variety of stuff. Is there something out there that you've never done that you want to do? Like if Corona ended her evil reign tomorrow and there was a signed contract on the table and a first class airline ticket, where are you going and what are you singing? Take it, LaToya.
Oh, let's see. I'm going back to Paris because that's my favorite city, and I'm going to sing jazz because when I was in performing arts high school, I spent a lot of time with the jazz students, and so my voice teacher used to be so upset because I wasn't hanging out doing opera. And I remember I went to the library and checked out a Sarah Vaughan tape. And I listened to it over and over and memorized every run, every word, everything she did. And I went back and I sang it for the jazz kids. And we put together this little combo, trying to get ready to perform at the New Orleans Jazz Fest and all this kind of stuff. But I never got to sing jazz in public. So that would be my ticket. I want to sing jazz in Paris.
Wow. Oh my, I want to hear that. I'm going.
Me too.
What,
Yes.
what you singing, Indira, and where you going?
I'm singing Lady Macbeth.
Vienita fretta.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And why?
I love Verdi. But I remember taking this course in graduate school, and it was Verdi's Shakespearean opera. And I studied Macbeth, academic, from an academic perspective. We weren't just talking about the music. But when I got to debut this opera at City Opera, it was like a dream come true. And then I fell in love with the role watching Lauren.
Uh-huh.
And this role is amazing. She is all over the place. I mean, there's so much depth. Vocally, it's amazing. I mean, it's scary, but it's beautiful. I mean, dramatically, you can just do so much. So I love the opera.
Wow. Okay. Listen, Lady Macbeth is a beast, and Lauren Flanagan, she eats up the stage, honey. So
Oh, she ate it up
you saw it right first. I love that.
right there.
What about you, Kearstin? Where you going, girl?
I don't know where I'm going. So there are two things I want to sing. I want to sing Juliet. I before I get too old, I want to do it while my voice is still moving, while that Potionari is still in there and good, and nah. And then I want to sing a full opera by a Black composer.
Wow, yeah.
I have not done that professionally yet. I've done it as maybe young artist at Northwestern. I did T.J. Anderson opera, but I want to be on a large stage singing opera by a Black composer.
Fantastic. Yeah. See, and I have put out into the universe that I'm going to sing Malcolm X by Anthony Davis. So why don't you come and be Betty with me?
Come on, let's do it.
We can do it. Let's put it out there. Put it out there. That's fantastic. So who are some of your musical influences, be it classical or otherwise? Who are you listening to now? Who are you listening to as a girl growing up? Like, who inspired you? Like, I know for me, like when I was a kid, I was in the mirror with a broomstick or a hairbrush doing it. I was Stevie Wonder. I was Michael Jackson. I was George Michael. I was, Luther and all of them. But I could only sing like Barry White and Lou Rawls because my voice was too low. But you know what I mean. So who inspired you? Who were you listening to, Indira?
So my first, I grew up listening to Motown. And the Jackson 5, and my uncle and I would be in the mirror. We'd be Gladys Knight and the Pips. I'm dating myself. But when I began to listen to classical music, seriously, Kathleen Battle changed my life.
Okay.
I thought she was so beautiful. And I remember she came to Oberlin. She did this beautiful recital. And I was sitting in the front seat, and it was the first time that I cried in a recital.
Wow.
It was so gorgeous. It was really beautiful singing.
Wow.
And Leontine Price and Anna Moffel.
Oh, can't that woman sing? Anna Moffel can, my God. Listen, her Rachmaninoff vocalese and her Traviata. I'm like, Anna can sing to me all day, every day. She sings it down, baby. What about you, Kearstin? Who are you listening to?
I think when I first started discovering my voice, it was CeCe Winans, actually.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and of course, the family she comes from, all over.
Yeah.
And I just started to really sing in general. And then when I was working at National Public Radio, minding my business, and thinking I'm gonna be in music journalism, I get a CD, and at that time, I don't think I knew it was from him. It was from my friend Terrence McKnight, who was at that time down in Georgia, the Georgia Public Broadcasting. And with no note, he just sent the CD. And I put it in the CD player at my workstation, and it was Roberta Alexander.
Listen, can I tell you, she's become one of my good girlfriends recently. She's a huge tennis fan. And so we chit chat, and she's in one of our private groups. And she's a hoot. I love me some Roberta Alexander.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
I need to reach out to her. But I did meet her in California, and when I saw her coming down the hall, it all came to me, like why I was here, and I think it was a CD of Charles Ives songs that I got, and so I just went in that YouTube hole, that rabbit hole of everything that I could find. And to me, her voice just spoke to me and still does. But I'd say she's the reason, one of the reasons why I sing.
Wow. What about you, LaToya? Anybody besides Ms. Vaughn, Diva Vaughn?
Diva Vaughn. I grew up sharing a room with my brother, and he is 8 years older than me, my middle brother. And I listened to everything that he listened to. So Anita Baker was who I wanted to be.
Yes.
And Angela Bofield, one of the most underrated singers ever.
You are so right about that.
Come on.
I was in love with her. Yes. So those were my singers growing up. And then when I got to high school, of course, Miss Jessie Norman, I was in love with.
Yeah. Amazing. I just love y'all. I'm having so much fun with y'all.
Oh, how about Tremaine Hawkins?
Oh,
Oh,
Tremaine with the notes and notes and notes, and she would lean
and
back
she
and get them
still
too.
has it. Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Did
she
y'all
still
see
has
Patty?
it.
Did you watch Patty and Gladys last night? Mercy.
I'm the only one. I'm not black. I can watch it. Take my card. Here it
Take
is.
your card.
Take my card.
Mhm.
Is there a
Thank
replay?
you. I don't. Do they
YouTube.
hold them
Go
on?
on YouTube.
Yeah, go to YouTube.
I did see the outfits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gladys Knight's technique is, I mean, she sings
Listen,
every day
she
down.
came warmed up.
Warmed up. My husband said Gladys Knight warmed up before this. And he's not
Okay.
They
saying
been warmed up always.
she warmed up.
Listen, but she's smart too because all her songs is in that same old baritonal key.
Yeah.
And so,
He must have said I'm a contralto like 5 times.
I'm a contralto, baby. I'm a contralto.
Oh, Jesus. Know your lane.
Yes.
Listen, know your lane and stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, ladies, about your voices. So, I know LaToya, when we first met, you were a mezzo,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're singing professionally as a soprano.
Mm-hmm.
When did the change happen? Or did you always think you were a soprano? Or because I find that a lot of my female singing colleagues who are sopranos now were at one point told by a teacher or choir director to sing alto, to sing in the alto. Was that your reality and you were just like, oh, I've been a soprano this whole time? Or did something happen?
I think people hear my speaking voice and the color of my voice and determined that it was a mezzo. And I went with it. And then when I got to CCM, I studied with Barbara Hahn for 5 years. And towards the end of my study with her, she wanted me to learn the Countess. And I was like, no, I don't want to sing that. And I literally resisted. And I wish she had pushed me harder, but she didn't. She didn't push me. So then when I started teaching at Central Michigan University, I had the opportunity to just not focus on my voice in terms of making money because people were always looking for mezzos. But when I started teaching, it wasn't the way that, I made my living through teaching. So Casey Robards, who's on here right now,
Casey!
hey, Casey! We were working on H. Leslie Adams' cycle.
Yes.
And she was like, let's try this in the hierarchy. And I was like, okay. And just moving stuff up a third changed the trouble I was having in the middle voice, just moving stuff up. And then the next cycle, we were like, let's do this one in the hierarchy. Let's do that one in the hierarchy. And then I sat down with the soprano opera anthology and I sang Detroit Holla for Casey. And she was like, Lane, this is it. And from there, I just started singing soprano.
Wow.
So blame Casey.
There she is. Hey, Casey, girl.
Yep.
Casey, and she plays down, baby. I
Plays
love
beautifully.
it.
And I had the comfort of being in academia to do the voice change without other people telling me, no, don't do it because we need to hire you for this.
Right.
So I was grateful for that.
Right. Wow. And what about you, Indira? Did you have that voice change or were you a coloratura at a time and you've now, what happened?
So when I started out, I was sort of like a light lyric soubrette, like a lot of young sopranos starting out. And of course, I always wanted to be something that I was not. I wanted to be like a mezzo and sing, or lyric mezzo and sing all that beautiful repertoire. But I'm sort of glad that it went this way. So I started out light, and I sang a lot of Mozart, Susanna, just the Ina Etta girls, and then gradually also started doing bel canto roles, Novena, the Bellini, Donizetti, and I started performing Rigoletto and Lucia.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and Traviata, and slowly began to move up. So I mean, move into sort of heavier repertoire. And I was glad that it happened that way because I felt like it was the healthiest way to transition into heavier repertoire. Also having been very influenced, by a lot of the Italian singers who also sort of that way, like Freni.
Yes.
Yeah. So
such
so
a
now,
well-paced career she had. It was so beautifully paced.
So beautifully produced. So I felt like she was, in a lot of ways, my role model in terms of how the voice develops. And then, of course, when you have children, then there's sort of another hormonal shift, another shift for me at least. But I think I was going to go that way anyway. So now doing something like Vespri Sushimyani that's coming up next year, I'm excited to do that because I feel like now I can sort of put everything together and sort of experience Verity and experience these sort of heavier roles in a new way. But I feel like it was sort of a healthier transition.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Kearstin?
You know, FOC-wise, I haven't really made that transition. I feel like perhaps I'm resisting some of the bigger roles, but I feel like if I can still sing Ina Etta, I'm gonna sing Ina Etta for as long as I can. I will say that, as Indira mentioned, having children definitely helped me fill out my bottom a little bit. And I've been praying, you know, silently and out loud, like, oh, I'm gonna be a mezzo after this one. No, the next one will be a mezzo after that one. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, Karen mentioned that Your Weight in the Water, LaToya. So I love LaToya. I love LaToya's mezzo too, or contralto, whatever that was.
Listen, I just think that Black women have like so much facility that they can go back and forth. Like Lindsay Price recorded Carmen, so why can't you? You know what I mean? You know, Jesse Norman did a whole span of things, and Shirley Verrett and Grace Bumbry did both. And you know, Shirley Verrett is probably one of the greatest Lady Macbeths in the world, but also one of the greatest Delilahs in the world. So, you know, I just think y'all got something in y'all DNA and your makeup and stuff that allows you to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's
and I'm only 4 months. I'm only 4 months postpartum, but what I've noticed about my voice, being pregnant and after, it feels heavier. And I don't know if that's mezzo. You know, the bottom is coming back in, and I might go back to mezzo. I don't know, but I'm starting to hear and feel more mezzo-ish. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I need a voice lesson.
Okay. Well, listen, that's a good transition into these next set of clips that I'm going to play, because I deliberately waited to play these because these are, in some people's opinions, are a little bigger and heavier than the first set of clips that I played. So check these ladies out and get up into the differences in the colors of the voice. Listen, my, my my friends can sing, baby. All of them. My friends can sing.
Wow.
I,
Beautiful.
y'all better go on. Y'all better go on and holler. I and Miss Joelle, you can hush. I can't play 5 hours of them singing. This format only allows for a certain amount of time. So this is also just to tickle your appetite so that y'all can do your own homework and go and find more about these ladies on your own, which is why I'm going to put up their websites so that you can go and see and find and listen and tip over to YouTube and find these clips and support these ladies when they're in your town singing. This is just an appetizer, not a full-on recital. All right. Yes, indeed. So that's Miss Indira's website information scrolling across the ticker tape right now. And then here is Miss Kearstin's information scrolling across now. And make sure y'all get it. Write it down or screenshot it or memorize it or whatever. And here is the doctor's information here. And I'm just so proud of y'all. And that singing is just so inspired. So you all hinted to one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk to you tonight, and that's being a mom. First, I want to know from each of you, did you always want to be a mother? And did that have sort of a determining factor with your career? Did you always think you could do it all? Kearstin.
Yes, I always wanted to be a mother. I went into college not knowing what I wanted to do. I think I declared a minor before I declared a major, just had no idea. And I knew that I was going to either find a husband or just, people now so they could look for me when I left. But I always knew that I wanted to be a wife and mother. I had dreams of, being an ethnomusicologist and a lawyer and this and that. And, but once, I started singing, I just made a decision. I found some time in my schedule and said, okay, we're going to make it pop right, during this time. And I got this later, I could have a baby. And I didn't really think about the aftermath of having a career. I didn't think about it at all until it happened. Fortunately, I've had a supportive group of mothers led by Andrea Jones-Sajola. And I think we're all a part of Momology, which is a group made of a lot of artist mothers who have kind of gone through it together. I wish I had known Nicole Kearstin Lane. If I were smart, I would have sought her out and interviewed her. But, we figured it out as a family. We figured out, which companies put you in this type of housing, which companies give you a pumping room. So I just made it work. And I couldn't have made it work without the support of my husband and without the support of my family, whether they're coming to Europe with me, with the baby, or whether they're staying home with the baby so that I can go. But I just decided it was going to work in some way. I didn't think about it not working.
Wow. Okay, Indira, how about you? Did you always know you were going to be somebody's mama? Did you?
Yes.
Was that the?
Yes. I knew I always wanted to be. Now, whether it was going to happen was another story. I didn't get married, right out of college. I got married later, and I just hoped and prayed that I would be a mom. I mean, I knew I always wanted to be. I was born a mother. I was one of those girls who played dollies and played with baby dolls, and I just wanted baby dolls and wanted real babies. I was just that girl. I was, and I loved babysitting. So yeah, I was just, I was thrilled when I was pregnant. It was just life-changing.
Amazing. Now, LaToya, I saved this question last for you because I remember dedicating an entire Facebook post celebrating you because you did something that I thought was superhuman. And I just sort of sat back and watched in amazement, like bowing down constantly. So not only did you have twins, but you were still working and driving and flying and singing and doing more singing and flying and driving and more singing and twins. And you were not 25.
Mm-mm.
Can you break that down to me in conjunction with the first question? Did you always want to be a mom? And then when you found out you were going to be a mom of twins, then what did that do?
Well, first of all, God is good. That's the first thing I have to say about all of that. I, you know, as you mentioned, you know, I'm a woman of a certain age, and I had written off that, you know, I would have children. I just had gotten married last year, and I thought, okay, well, I'm, you know, this age, it's not happening for me. But God, and naturally. And so I was in the rehearsals at the Met, and I remember it was opening night, and I said, okay, well, I think I need to take a pregnancy test, but I'm gonna wait until after the opening night party because it was free champagne. So I waited. So I took the test the next day, and it came back positive. But you know, I had already had all of these, not only rehearsing at the Met, but in between I had recitals booked, and so I had a recital at Amarillo Opera in Texas, and Casey and I went down to Florida to do a recital in Fort Lauderdale. And so, you know, I had all of this stuff booked, and I also was teaching full-time still at North Carolina. So I was driving back and forth or flying, depending on how much time I had to teach my students, because I didn't want too much time to go by in between their lessons. So whenever we would have a 2 or 3 day break, I would go down to North Carolina to teach. And then I would also go and do these recitals. I don't even know, Kenny, how, when I look back over that, just kind of supernatural blessing. I don't know how it happened. I was just putting one foot in front of the other one. And I just asked God, please help me to finish this run. And I remember I was 20 weeks pregnant, and I started having contractions. And, 20 weeks is not a good time to be having contractions. And so we had a show the next day, and I was up all night. I started timing them. They were an equal amount of time apart. And I was kind of panicking. I thought I would need to go to the emergency room, and I'm in New York staying at somebody's house. And so I missed that show. I called Dan, and I told him, I've been up all night and I'm not feeling well. I'm having these Braxton Hicks, which I found out they were later Braxton Hicks contractions. And I just knew that, God, if I can get to February, and then they added 5 more shows after the end of the run. But I just asked God, help me to get through this. I wanted to make sure that my students were still feeling like they were being taken care of and prepared as we were getting closer to juries and all that kind of stuff. And I finished my last performance gig. And after that, I just kind of exhaled, because I know it wasn't by my own power or my own might that I was able to do that. God just blessed me in that way. And I'm so grateful.
But then you add on to that, you gave birth in the middle of a global pandemic.
Jesus.
Now, I didn't even want to go outside, let alone, what was going through your mind with, like, what precautions did you and your husband take to bring these babies, these miracles into the world safely during a pandemic?
Right. Well, to be honest, the pandemic then was a blessing in a way, because I could rest. So I wasn't going to school. I wasn't having to teach. I was teaching from home. But I was 30 weeks by the time we started the lockdown, and I was able to kind of rest and bake these babies. So when it ended, though, the hospital wouldn't allow, supportive people other than one person. And so I had a doula, and they told my doula she couldn't come. My mom couldn't come. Only my husband could be in the room. So that was a little disheartening, because, at that time you want the support, you want your people around you. But to be honest, it has been a blessing. Right now I'm kind of going stir crazy, because we really quarantined, and we really, like, if he would go to a grocery store, we were wiping down groceries when they come in the house and leaving the shoes outside, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now I feel bad because my children have only met my mom and my brother and his wife, and they're 4 months old. You know, normally, especially with Black people, by this time they know everybody, and everybody know them, and they about to go into a house, and
Hold this
But
baby, hold this
yes,
baby.
take this baby, yeah. And so I feel sad about that. That my entire family hasn't met them yet. So
Wow. Amazing. I salute you. I salute all of you. Men ain't that strong. I'm gonna just tell y'all that now. Men ain't that strong. So Kearstin, did you find that because you have two kids, two boys, were the pregnancies different? And if so, how are they different? And then how did each one affect your body, your voice in different ways, if at all?
I would say when I first found out I was pregnant with Miles, my oldest, I was very fit, healthy. And I was like, oh, I mean, I've heard of people you talking about their voices are affected. That first trimester, my voice was trash. Okay. About the hormones, like I would just open my mouth and I didn't know some stuff would come out that I didn't mean that, and it, cracking everywhere. And so, but the second trimester, man, you can do anything, honey. I would do labor, death, all of them. And then I sang up until I think 2.5 weeks before I gave birth. I sang Micaela. It was not easy, but I did it. But I knew that if I stopped, that would be it. I took a lot of yoga classes and just kind of kept. It was really the breath. I will say that I had a little bit more difficult pregnancy with Miles, my oldest. Just I don't know, maybe just the first time with Avery, it seemed like the pregnancy was easier. Maybe I was just feeling more settled, but I did have to stop flying at a certain time, which meant I stopped traveling to sing. I almost passed out on a plane. Like I just got some, kind of blacked out a bit, and after that, no. So, but I would say that my pregnancies weren't terrible. It was the birthing, and I will say that after my second Avery, I had diastasis recti, or I think as diastasis recti.
What is that for mere mortals?
So that's when your abdominal muscles spread apart, and that was from pushing. And I didn't realize I had done that. And I went to sing, I think it was the Atlanta Symphony. I sang down there, and in the middle of the performance, I knew something was wrong. It's like, this is not right. And so I went and studied with my teacher. I think I went to see Heidi Grant Murphy was at that time cool with me. And I just because she had just, had a couple of kids, I was like, hey, can you tell me what's going on? And found out that I could put like 3 fingers between where my abdominal muscles separated. So I had to go to, and I didn't feel good about singing at all. I made it through my gigs barely, but after therapy and after bringing those muscles back together, I felt like, and then I kind of retrained my whole body to sing. So after Avery, I had to just I pretty much started from scratch.
Wow.
With singing. And I don't talk about it a lot. It was really hard, but I feel more confident as a singer today than I did, pre him or even right after I had him, because it took me a couple of years to really get my body back to where I felt good and strong again. He tore me up. I mean, I'll remind him of that constantly.
Amazing. Amazing. And Indira, what about you?
Kenneth, I sang until they wouldn't let me on the plane anymore. It was really incredible because actually, I found out that I was pregnant. So first, let me tell you, remember I was telling you how much I wanted to be pregnant. So I got these index cards and I wrote down every scripture I could find about having babies and giving birth and children. And I would confess them every day. And so I'm still hoping, but then finally, I was not feeling right when I was on the Barkheimer tour, and I was in Germany, and
So wait, you were touring pregnant?
I was touring pregnant, but I didn't know. I didn't know that I was pregnant. So when we were in Germany, and I think I was telling Angela Owens, I was like, I don't feel right. I don't feel good. And I flew back. We had a break, and so I flew back to New York. Went to the doctor, and they checked, and they said, you are absolutely pregnant. And I was so over the moon because this was the moment that I had been waiting for. I was just like, this is the best news ever, ever. And I loved my pregnancy. I loved being pregnant. And so then knowing that I was pregnant, I traveled and I sang, and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And this was the year that I was scheduled with lots of concerts in Europe. So I'd have to have doctor's notes. And finally, I think I was in Iceland, and they said, there's no way that you're getting back on the plane to go back to the United States. You're going to have your doctor call us before we let you on the plane. I said, well, I got here. They're like, yeah, but we just can't be responsible because you look like you're going to give birth any minute now. And I still had like 2 more months. Anyway, so I did get home. My doctor did call. I did get home. And then we had this one. And here is Bella.
Hi, Bella.
She's so pretty.
She is.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi,
How are
Bella.
you? She's so pretty. My gosh.
She's getting big.
How old is she now?
She's 9. And she's 9 going on 19.
I
And she had some lipstick that she couldn't wait to put on so that she could make her cameo queen.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
So
anyway,
you got back to New York.
I finally made it back, and then we sat home for about 2 months, and then there she was, miracle baby. She came, and I tell you, it was amazing. But the hard part for me was after I had this is sort of almost the worst gig to have that right after you give birth was a recording. And I felt like my insides, I could not get on top of my body well. I could not. It was very hard physically, and you're right, Kearstin. We don't talk about this a lot. We sort of suffer in silence. I mean, we can say, "Oh, I'm not feeling right," but when you're a singer, you really are so in tune with your body and so engaged in your body, and so it's not right. But there you are scheduled to perform, and you do the best that you can do. But it's tough sometimes going through those difficult periods where your body is healing and your body's adjusting, and it's different for every woman.
Yeah.
So no one can really tell you how it's going to feel. But it was just physically hard, emotionally hard. I was exhausted, and no one tells you about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So for all of you, did you worry at all about how the workforce would treat you once you became a mother, or was the workforce sort of open and supportive to your motherhood? What about you, Kearstin?
I didn't think about it until, I went back to work, and Miles came everywhere with me. And if I didn't need to tell the company that I had a baby with me, I didn't. It was pretty much a non-issue as far as the work I needed to do. If it was, something from...
Okay, I'm going to try and make LaToya Square bigger.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Look, Lyric.
Hi, sweet pea.
So this is Lyric.
Who did she just
And her
wake
brother is
up?
Kaden.
Hi, Lyric.
Hi.
Why you got me
Hi,
on this
sweetie.
people?
Hi, sweet
She's
pea.
so used to seeing people on Zoom. That's all they do is like,
Right.
yeah, they're used to seeing people on camera.
Sweetie. Hi, sweet pea.
So
How are you? She's so
Giving us
comfy
the
in front of the
blues.
camera.
I know.
Look at this.
Like, fix my bow, mama.
Right. You'll fix
Hi,
that later.
sweetheart.
Look at Auntie Kenny.
Hi, boo boo. How are
This is what
you?
people are supposed to really look like.
Right?
Right. She's gonna be like, wait, I recognize them, but
Okay. You wait till this pandemic is over. I'm coming to get you,
Right.
baby.
right.
Oh
I
my gosh,
don't
so
know what I was
precious.
saying, but yeah,
So if
but
you
I did
didn't,
find, I would say I only ran into one situation where a company assumed after I had my second child that I would not be able to do my job. And I don't even want to talk about that. But
wow,
many places I went gave me exactly what I needed. I usually
More.
get my own childcare, and they're going
oh my gosh,
they're
Look, look at this.
matching polka dots and
what's up,
stripes.
man? Hey,
This is
Kaden,
Kaden. Hi.
what's up, man? How you
Almost make you want
doing?
to try again.
Okay,
Oh,
Daddy.
King Cadence and Queen Lyric. I love it.
American Kate, love it.
Sorry,
Oh,
Kearstin. I
No,
had to talk
it's
about
I
it.
love it.
okay. That was weird. But I would say overall, companies have been very gracious. Um, uh, you know, music directors have been gracious. My agent has been gracious. Everybody has really opened doors for me that I didn't even know, things I didn't know. I had a stage manager told me, you need this much time to pump. And so I was like, oh, I do? Like, okay. Like, she would let me know, okay, Kearstin, it's time for you to go pump. I'm like, I'm cool. You know,
Right.
you don't want to take your pumping break, but yeah, it's been great.
Wow.
The stage
Now,
managers at the Met were so accommodating because they changed all of my blocking for me. I sat for a lot of it. Yeah, because there were a couple of times where I was supposed to go upstairs and come back down and come downstage, but they were like, okay, this is where you'll sit for this whole
right.
scene. And that's what I did. Yep.
And see, and thank you, Andrea. This is what I remember.
Hey man, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Got one on the hip, one in the baby Bjorn, one wherever, stroller, wherever they fit, just put them in there.
So I have to tell everybody, like, I did a show with Kearstin. We were in Utah, and it was a really big summer. And she was Bess, and I was Porgy, but she was also Sarah in Ragtime. And she had both of her sons with her. Her husband was back east working because he's a doctor. And then she had their entire summer like blocked out with like lessons and violin lessons and swimming and this and other kids. And then she got on stage and was just perfection. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Yep.
Is this Mr. Sir Avery? What's up, gummy bear? How are you, sir?
Gone somewhere.
So how did you manage that entire summer? Like singing eight performances of Best, and then I don't know how many performances of Ragtime,
And sometimes 2 in a day.
2 in a day, with 2 boys, and you never missed a show, never missed a note, always had a great attitude, always just, and then were able to support me on stage. I was just like, this is just an embarrassment of riches. Like, how did you manage that?
God.
Yeah.
Help. I reached out to a musician friend, one person I knew in Logan, Utah, who I thought could help support me with finding childcare. I got 2 nannies because, you know, between 10 and 10, I didn't know what my schedule would be. So I got 2 young ladies who helped me out, and they were the best. They were the sweetest. And I think I called you a couple times. Just, come on, cross the lot into my place. And just your presence, Kenny, really just like, I remember we made pancakes and I just said, hey, can you come have breakfast with us? That was just, it took some of the pressure off of me because my children are enthralled with you. So so you helped with that as well. But like I said, I just go in. And fortunately, being out in Utah as we were, that was a very family friendly place, family friendly company. The housing was family friendly. That made it easier for me to do my job. So
Yeah, amazing. So Indira, did you take how soon after you had Bella did you start working again? And did you take her with you? What kind of help did you have?
So I started working about 3 months right after. And it took a village. I had help. I had friends, Angela, I had my mom. And also I found companies very accommodating. I could hire somebody, they would help me with childcare, stage management would help with childcare. I mean, and just friends and family. And I remember the first time that Bella flew to Italy was, my mom and remember Lem and
Bella's
he helped. Yeah, he said, no, I don't remember who that. Yeah, that's
What's up, Miles?
So
They had some milk from her. I don't know, but anyway,
You
what was in
my-
that bottle? I don't know.
No, I know.
Amazing.
But, yeah, they played together when so we had them together for one tour, which was fantastic because we were both they were the same age. I remember I've got this picture. We were in the lobby playing with the children, and I think Bella was trying to learn how to walk. Miles wasn't walking yet either, but it was hard stuff. Your mom was there. And it's very hard. You have to have support. You cannot do it by yourself. You can't.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, and of course, well, I mean, you can, but and God bless women who don't have the help. That's tough. But it takes a village. It really does.
Wow.
Mhm.
Amazing. So LaToya, do you have a contingency plan in place for when things open back up and you start teaching and concertizing and da-ba-da-da? Like, how's that going to work with not one but two miracles?
It's funny, I talk about Kearstin all the time because I remember one tour, your mom came, and I was like, okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my mama, she's retired, and she can just go with me everywhere I need to go.
My mama
So
done
I was
quit, girl. She done quit.
She quit on you?
Yeah, she quit a long time ago. Shortly after that, actually.
So I think I was trying to convince Jason to be a house husband, but that's not going to work. So yeah, I think I'm just planning for my mom to come and, probably another family member, especially since there's two of them. So that's the plan when things open up, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. So as you're teaching,
Chauncey, say hi to us. He was instrumental too. He helped so much with these babies when you're on the road. And Chauncey.
Yes, Chauncey fixed my stroller. My baby couldn't take the baby nowhere. He fixed the wheel.
Amazing. So, did you all do you still have too much advice? Unsolicited advice? Do you have people telling you what you should and shouldn't and shouldn't and shouldn't? And how do you sort of decipher what to listen to and then what to leave to the side?
That's why COVID has been a blessing because nobody's seen anybody. So we quarantine, they can't tell you nothing.
What about you, Kearstin?
Not no more.
Right.
Shut it down. Shut it off. I show them that I'm doing what I do, and to me, I'm doing it pretty damn well. I'm happy with my life, and I had to think about, because when COVID came and I was on the brink of a very, very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful production at Lincoln Center, and I felt very empty having to leave New York City and having to come back home, which I craved coming back home at that time. But after weeks and weeks of not knowing, I had to really think about why I was doing what I was doing and who was I doing it for and what work meant to me and who was I related to my work. And I had to really separate, my persona from my work because I wasn't working. And I had to really delve into being that full on parent. And I felt guilt because I've been told by certain people that I wasn't a good parent because I travel and I leave my children with au pairs and my husband, or I pull my kids out of school to, for them to travel with me. And I check in with my kids. And I did catch Miles, and I've always had this, this guilt, but I caught Miles bragging about me. And we were in some cafe and I don't know who he was talking to, but I almost teared up. I felt so relieved. And I also got an email from Avery's teacher who was telling me that during class time, they were watching YouTube videos of me, and he was narrating. He didn't know what was going on in the opera, but he was telling all his little 4-year-old friends what mommy was talking about in French or whatever. Or he said, this is what she's saying. And she just let him do it. And that just made me, and I was away at the time too, wondering, are they missing me? I was in San Francisco. But having those experiences, I didn't feel like a bad mom anymore. And everyone else, it's just noise. I'm doing it. My kids are thriving. And I think they appreciate what I do. And I think they're having a unique bringing up. And I think they appreciate that. So.
Yeah. So, Indira, is Bella showing interest in the performing arts at all?
Yes, she is. I think she went to arts camp, really enjoys being in the theater. I'm not quite sure what she will, if she's going to maybe play an instrument, or she is taking violin, she's taking piano, she loves to sing and dance. But we would love it if she did, but I'm not going to push her in that direction.
Yeah.
My prayer is that she is well balanced. A well balanced child, and that she is enjoying her life and doing what she loves to do, whatever that will be. So
yeah. That's awesome. So LaToya, what are the twins listening to? What are they into? What are they responding to?
Oh, child, they all about Mickey Mouse right now. We watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse all day long. And so they know all of those tunes. But lyric, I think she's gonna sing because she hums all day. My mom told me that she used to do that. And so I think that's where she gets it from. She hums in her sleep. She hums when she eats all day long. She's I say that's a yawn size. So,
okay,
we working on it.
I love it. Oh my gosh. How is your husband handling this?
Oh, like a champion. I mean,
really?
He's, double fisting. That's how we doing it around here.
Wow.
You get the bottle, I'll change the diaper, so it definitely helps to have a partner.
Wow.
Sure.
So were you surprised that you were having twins? Do twins run in your family or his family, or were you expecting twins?
I was surprised when I did the first ultrasound. I remember the text said, do twins run in your family? And I was wondering why he asked me that. And I looked at the screen and I see these two little heartbeats. So, but yeah, actually they do. My mom has 3 children and we've all had twins.
What?
I've been pregnant with twins. Yeah.
Oh my God.
My oldest brother has a set of twin boys, and my middle brother had a set of twin boys, and they unfortunately didn't make it. But yeah, we've all had twins.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
And my grandmother was a twin, so I guess, and it skips a generation. So that's really good.
Okay. My goodness. So do you ladies want to have more, either naturally or by surrogate or by adoption or by...
I'm 2 and through.
2 and through.
And through.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. I think we're done. We're done.
I might go pick out somebody, if I really want a girl, because God got jokes. And if I tried to have another child, it would be a boy. So, I think I want a girl. So maybe I'll go pick her out.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, you got all of you have an entire village out here waiting to jump in and help. And I know it's been awful for us not being able to love up on your kids as much as we normally would, because this evil pandemic has stopped all of that. But that will come to an end. I have claimed it. And so
just show my shirt for Vote Like a Mother.
Vote like a mother. I love that. I love that. And so, okay. So before we get out of here, I have gotten into the custom of asking all of my guests the same 10 questions that James Lipton would ask his guests on Inside the Actors Studio. So I want you to answer the first answer that comes to your mind. And so we'll go Kearstin, Indira, LaToya for the first question. All right. What is your favorite word?
Cake.
Yes, cake.
Okay.
First thing that came to mind. Sorry.
Indira,
You know, it's not one word. It has to be one word.
say it.
You know what? That's what I always say.
You know what? LaToya?
Okay, this is weird, but my favorite word is uncle. Because the way your
Uncle.
tongue touches your soft palate, I love that. And so I would say uncle. It's a great word.
And it's a great thing to be. It is a great thing to be.
Yes, Uncle Kenny.
Oh my God. Okay, so in reverse order, LaToya, Indira, Kearstin, what is your least favorite word?
Oh, the C word.
The what?
See you next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.
Ah, gotcha.
Look at Kearstin.
Yeah.
That's an
as
ugly
I'm
word.
getting older, when I hear people in the street, young people, it's the N word now.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear young people say it bothers me. And even though we grew up, we heard it in different contexts, but now when I hear it, it bothers me.
Kearstin?
Irregardless. We all know 10 people who say it, okay?
Irregardless.
Listen, I hate that. I cannot tell you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the next word will go Indira, Kearstin, LaToya. Next question is, what turns you on?
A man who is good at what he does. I think excellence turns me on.
Okay, I like that answer. Kearstin.
Okay.
I would say Black fathers.
Okay.
When I see Black men, engaging with their children or just and doing things like baking and cooking with them and not necessarily throwing a ball. That's just ooh.
LaToya.
And piggybacking off of that, Black Love. I'm loving that show on OWN. Just to see Black people in love.
Yeah. Okay. In reverse order, LaToya, Kearstin, Indira, what turns you off?
Cleaning the kitchen.
Kearstin?
45.
Oh.
That part.
Just
Indira?
Parents not taking responsibility.
Yes. Okay, next question. Let's go Kearstin, LaToya, Indira. What sound or noise do you love?
I don't know. I like to hear, it's very faint, but when you're in a bubble bath and you kind of hear the bubbles kind of popping, it sounds kind of fizzy.
Okay.
It's a relaxing to me. I know it's very specific.
I'll keep that in mind the next time I emerge into it. Okay. Okay, LaToya.
The twins have reached an age where they giggle, so just hearing them laugh and they crack up like belly laugh now, and so it's like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Indira.
The sound of my key turning in the door. Like I'm home and my day is done and I get to be with my family and just, see Bella, just knowing that it means family time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In reverse order, Indira, LaToya, Kearstin, what sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, sirens.
Mm.
Living in New York City, especially during COVID. I mean, that's just
Oh,
all we heard. All we
yeah.
heard around the clock.
Yeah. LaToya.
I haven't heard in a while, but I would say nails on a chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kearstin.
It didn't bother me before, but now they wake me up in the morning. I have turkeys that run through my yard, wild turkeys, and they squawk. It's like I have a chicken coop or something. I did not sign up for this. And if they keep it up, Thanksgiving gonna be good.
Okay. Okay. Next question will go LaToya, Kearstin, Indira. What is your favorite curse word?
Bitch.
I like that one too.
That's a good word.
It is. It is.
And it means good and bad. Especially when you talk
like
to
it has a lot of different connotations. Like, bitch.
Yes.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, I like saying that's some bullshit. I mean, I don't say it often, but when I do, I like get into it.
Yeah.
Say it often.
Indira.
The F word.
Yeah. Bomb.
It's a good one.
Boom. Okay, number 9. Let's go Kearstin, Indira, LaToya. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I think I admire nurses. I think that's such a noble profession. And when I have been in the hospital, not many times, but those are the people, even when you go to the doctor's office, they make a big difference in how your appointment's going to go or how your day is going to go or how your diagnosis is going to go. So I don't know. I think I'd love to try nursing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Indira?
Yeah. I think counselor or therapist. I think I would really like to support people and encourage people, help people work through things.
Yeah. LaToya?
I used to want to be a speech pathologist. When I decided I wasn't going to sing anymore, I was going to actually pursue that. And then I got a gig. So,
yeah.
Yeah, but
doesn't that always happen? I ain't gonna do this no more.
It always happens. I'm not singing no more, and then somebody calls.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm gonna be a speech pathologist.
So, okay, in reverse order, LaToya, Indira, Kearstin, what profession other than your own would you never want to attempt?
And first,
I never want to attempt. Probably a police officer.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Indira?
Politician. I don't think I would want to be in politics.
Kearstin?
I would say, and I did this before I had children, but I couldn't do this as a mother, an elementary school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I admire teachers. Come on, take my kids today, please. I love y'all, but I couldn't do it.
Okay. Now, before we get to the last question, I have to pivot a little bit because you brought up politics. Indira, there was an incredible article written with you on one side and our soon-to-be vice president on the other side. Because I'm all about manifestation, so I'm gonna speak it into existence. The Senator, soon to be Vice President Kamala Harris. Tell us what it means to you personally to have the same makeup
Mhm.
as Kamala Harris.
Yeah. It's incredible. I was so encouraged, so excited. I haven't been this excited about politics in such a long time. I was, and it means a lot in so many ways, because this mixture is not as popular, like say in the United States, as it is outside of the United States, like in certain parts of Africa or certain parts of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But it highlights these two amazing cultures coming together. Also, as a single mother, what that means to me and what that means for people who are doing it, by themselves, what her mother went through, what my mother went through, and raising children alone. That's incredible. I mean, I think it touches us in so many ways. I think we can all find something relatable to her story. And I just feel like it's a great time. It's a great time for us, for women of color.
Yeah. Amazing. And so Patrick McCoy has a comment that I want to talk to Kearstin about. I admire your career on the radio.
Mhm.
You are a woman of so many trades. You're a beast on the stage, and you're on the radio show, and then you're with the Gateways Music Festival, and you're a mom and a wife and a friend and all of that. How did you get onto the airwaves and make all that happen?
Well, we went to a Garth Fagan dance gala with some of my husband's colleagues. I don't know if you know Garth Fagan. He was the choreographer of Lion King. His dance company is here in Rochester. And a guy was like, "Hey, we were sitting next to the president of the local radio station, WXXI, and he said, "You want to come for a tour?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to. I haven't, been around a radio station in a while." And that tour turned into an interview, just like right there. So when they found out that I had been an editorial assistant for Performance Today, they asked me if I wanted to be a radio host. And I said, "Oh yeah, I have a voice. I can do that." Now, I remember just our host, Fred Child, who's now in Minnesota, there was just a microphone and him in a booth, and there was an engineer pressing the buttons. When I started my training, I had all the buttons, all of them, the whole board. I mean, I had the traffic, the weather, the song, the playlist. I just, it's a little overwhelming, but it was also very powerful. I get to play whatever I want. I get to say whatever I want about that song, and people are going to listen to it.
That is awesome.
But I love that I got a chance to host my first special with the Morehouse College Glee Club, featuring Joel Thompson's 7 Last Words, and I'm hoping to do a little bit more of that. And I love it. I feel like I've kind of not really come full circle, but I did come back to radio. But now it's a fun thing to do, and I usually fill in when I'm not on the road, so I don't have a regular spot. But it is fun when I do go in and do my playlist. And y'all send your CDs to WXXI. I'll post it in my Facebook somewhere, because I want to play all of my friend's stuff. Whenever I see my friend's stuff on the shelf, I play it. So do that. Send it.
Yes, Andrea, I agree that it's beautiful for Bella to see Kamala in this position and heading into the White House. We're going to see to it.
Yes.
So is there something that you miss doing and being a part of now than before you became moms?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something you miss?
I miss dancing. Taking time out to just really turn up the music and dance, even at home. I started a praise dance team at my church in Alexandria, Virginia, after college, after grad school. That's kind of where I landed. And even as I began my singing career, I always came back to Alexandria, and I would choreograph, and I loved doing that. I danced. I've been dancing since age 6 on through, college, Spelman College Dance Theater, performing pieces with Ailey too. And I miss that. Belly dancing with Samaya Ali. And so I don't take time out to do it. And that's something that I think the thing that goes to the wayside with me being a mom is taking care of my body as much. And I'll do a little workout, but I think dancing really, and just feeling the music and really embodying music is what I miss. And I need to do that more and do it again.
What about you, LaToya? I know it's new.
Yeah, it's new, but just I don't know. I became an avid golfer, and
right.
I haven't been on a course since the pandemic started. And so even though now people are going back out, with the kids, it's kind of like, okay, well, do I bring the stroller and pull it along with my golf club? So I don't know yet. I haven't figured that part out yet, but I miss golfing.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Indira?
I don't miss anything.
No.
I don't. I feel so full. I mean, I feel like I'm doing what I really want to do, and I don't have regret, and I don't feel sad that I can't do something because there's so much to watch on television. I mean, like when I miss, for example, going to a class, I'm okay with watching it on TV. I know it's not the same, like you were saying, Kearstin, to go to a live class, it's not the same, but I just don't miss anything. I'm happy to be quarantined a little with my family. It was okay for me. It was okay. I really have to say, and I mean, the grace of God, but I didn't go stir crazy. I was somehow or another feeling very content and very satisfied and very sort of comfortable in my skin, and being okay with eating too much, and being okay with like, okay, when this is all over, we're going to do what we have to do, but it is what it is. And learning to just be gentle with myself, and not get anxious and feel like I was missing something, or, being dissatisfied with the lifestyle. It was sort of an acceptance, and I learned to really embrace that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I think that's a lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a lesson for everybody. So James Lipton's last question is, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? LaToya?
Well done, my good and faithful servant.
Hey. Kearstin?
I would just like to hear an affirmation of the path I've chosen was the path that was laid out for me, that my steps were indeed ordered.
Amen. Amen. Indira?
It's the same as LaToya. Well done. Well done.
That is so fantastic. You ladies have made my whole week. I just love y'all so much. And I'm honored and grateful that you took like 2 hours out of your day to spend with me, and you have children to take care of. Selfish uncle needed some time with the mamas. But just know that you're all loved and celebrated and supported and valued and cherished, from me and to everybody out there that's watching, your families, your extended families, all of your villages. And just know that you can call on us.
Yeah.
You can use us. You know what I mean? Nothing is too big. Nothing is too small. Call on your villages. That's why we are here. We love y'all. And so thank you for being here. And I wanted to just go around and see if there were any parting words from the three of you that you wanted to impart with the audience. You can take it, and anybody can take it.
I would say now something that I read in one of my devotionals is, like, especially during this time when a lot of us are finding other things to do to make money or work. But I just want to say that the meaning that our work has, wait, I wrote it down. Hold on. Wait, here we go. The meaning we give our work determines the attitude we have about it. And
wow.
It's really...
Wait, say it again. Say, somebody in the back didn't get it. Somebody in the back didn't get it.
The meaning we give our work determines the attitude we have about it.
Hey.
So whatever you are doing, even when you're back on the stage, you know, you're not where you want to be. You're not making what you wanted to make. You know, check. You know, if your attitude's not right, you know, just check up on yourself. Check in.
Check it. I know that's right. Indira.
The meaning.
Yeah.
Indira, what you got for the folks?
So I think I would say, I mean, this is for moms, but I think it's for anybody, but delayed, but not denied.
Yeah.
You can be delayed because, you know, motherhood, parenthood takes a lot out of you. And it's very easy to feel like you are missing something, or that it's going to take you longer. But just because it takes you longer doesn't mean that you won't get there. So delay does not mean denied.
LaToya?
There was a quote that the late Chadwick Boseman said that I loved. And he said, when I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me.
My God.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
I'm about to burst into tears.
I know.
Oh, I am too. I'm about to burst into tears, not only because it's exactly how I feel, and especially more now than ever.
Yeah.
You know, I said at the beginning of the show that this morning I watched a little bit of the rough cut of Jesse Norman's gala for tomorrow, and I wept. I wept not because I was sad, but because so much work and time and tears and sweat and frustration and triumph and getting yeses and getting no's and getting pushback and getting success, it all like culminated in this beautiful thing. And so I feel like I've given so much to it that I don't want there to be anything left. I don't want there to be anything left unsaid, undone, unsung, unfelt. So I get that. And thank you for sharing that. I think I'm going to put that on my wall somewhere. But ladies, thank you so much. And before we get out of here, I just wanted to play the little shameless plug promo video about tomorrow.
Yeah, I got my gown ready.
Got my ticket.
Get yourself together. Because it's going to be something like you have never seen. And so prepare yourself.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Janae Bridges.
I'm Damian Sneed.
Hi, I'm Justin Austin.
I'm Karen Slack.
I'm Chauncey Packer.
I'm Sydney Outlaw. Join me for Jesse Norman at 75
on September 15th.
Presented in support of the Jesse Norman Estate and Black Opera, the film.
Featuring performances and dedications from Laverne Cox, Anna DeVere Smith, Damian Sneed, Janae Bridges, Darren Walker, Denise Graves, Simon Estes, Audrey Dubois Harris, Martina Arroyo, Misha Brugger-Gosman, Dan's Theater of Harlem, Michael Tilson Thomas, Gloria Steinem, and so many more.
To learn more, please visit blackoperafilm.com.
Ooh, that's gonna be so good.
When I tell y'all that I have to give a shout out to a lot of opera companies who so graciously agreed in the last couple of days to stream and broadcast the gala on their Facebook pages so that their contingencies can see it. And so I have to shout out Toledo Opera and Virginia Opera and Opera Carolina and Opera Memphis and New York City Opera and my beloved San Francisco Opera and Dance Theater of Harlem and the Lead Society and the Color of Music Festival. All of these places have so generously agreed to broadcast this gala tomorrow, in addition to us having it on our website and on YouTube and on our Facebook page. And so we want as many people in the world to see this, to celebrate this icon. And so I am saying in advance that I'm grateful and thankful to all of you for your support. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you to you three queens, because that's what you are. To me, you are royalty. I bow down to your grace and beauty and strength and perseverance and talent. It is an honor to be your brother. It really is. I love you all. And so everybody, join me next Monday when we have a show called Divas Who Do It Differently with my panelist, Emmy Award-winning Adrienne Danrich.
Yes.
The fantastic, multi-talented opera singing bodybuilding sensation Tiffany Jackson.
Yes.
And the absolutely gorgeous Nubian goddess, Miss Indira Thomas, will all be here with me next Monday. So tune in next Monday at 7 p.m. right here. But tomorrow at 6 Eastern, you know where to be. All right. Thank you so much. I love you, ladies.
Love you too, Kenny. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.